Hello all, it's our TED class talk, conversation practice about TED talks. And today we have a topic, humor at humor at work, and let's discuss it. First of all, we have a video, we have a link to the video, to the recording. I'm reading our chat, recording. So let's ask someone to retell us the gist of it. Diana, can you?
Yes, sure, Ivan. I can. Okay. So I liked the speaker. I liked his way of presenting the topic. So, well, there was no story. He just shared with us his idea about humor at the workplace. So, according to the speaker, humor is very valuable. So, and it makes our working place more fun, yeah, more effective. So he said probably it is not efficient, but it is more effective. So there is a question, what's the difference? The first of my questions, what's the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Is there one? Okay, but let me continue. So according to the speaker, humor, well, makes your message to stick out, makes people stop and remember what you are trying to say and pay attention to your message. So he also said that humor helps to solve problems, and apparently these are problems with overweighting, you know, because he said that when people laugh, it actually helps them lose weight. So 10-15 minutes of laugh actually equals to 5 minutes of aerobics, and even 15 minutes of milking a cow, which I like very much. Yes. So for people who are milking the cow, you can just laugh for the same amount of time. So it is much more fun, I think. So, and it actually, and he also said that when we laugh a lot, so we reduce tension, and humor and laughter helps us to increase resiliency, I think. Resiliency, is that correct word? Yeah, resiliency, okay. And if we have, actually, the other thing he said, we spend a lot of money at work, so that's not a secret, right? So, and if humor helps us make more friends, get more friends at the workplace. So, and if we get more friends at the workplace, so it makes us happier altogether, right? So it makes us well, probably it makes not only our workplace much more happier place, but our life in general much more easier and happier. So, and another thing which I find really interesting, he said that according to some research, American research, yes, humor helps us make more money, which is probably an American thing because, well, maybe not, I don't know. So it makes, yeah, because he says that many CEOs, they promote people who use humor at the workplace easier. And so, I don't know. So that's actually another question I would like to ask about your experience in your countries. Is that true? So does humor help you to, you know, to make your paycheck bigger? So, okay, that's about it.
Okay, very good, very good. I just like watched it again. So, what do we think about it? We can start from our questions. We have only a few today for some reason, and all we can speak about video, about what? About impression of the video. Someone want to add something? No. Vasans, what about you? Do you like the video in general?
Yes, I agree with that, with those points. the talker said, because when you have a humor that earns some credibility, how to say, some trust on you. So the people around you trust you because you make them happy, you make them smile. So that helps people to trust you. So,
Okay. So it was a very funny video in my opinion. It's a good pace, good speaker. He delivered his points very well, and he used some humor too. So it looks like he is adept of that. Leila.
And it is also short. I like it a lot.
You mean the talk was short?
No, yeah. What I mean is that I just listened to him carefully. I didn't lose my concentration. And I like his question. You know, when he started talking, which Star Wars character are you? I like it a lot. So I just thought about it. So I think the way he uses humor made me motivate.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we have to use humor to some extent. We have to be careful not to offend people.
But maybe you could stay could stay concentrated all the video, because it was not monotonous video, because he used some humor, some jokes, he demonstrated some funny pictures and so on. So maybe it's
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
maybe it's just a demonstration how humor really helps us. One of them. Yes, Black Panther, please.
Yeah, I have a question. I don't understand how people who use humor at work are paid more. So how? Shall I say jokes so they will pay more for me?
As I understand, if I can answer, as I understand, it's not a direct connection, a direct connection. It's like if you use it well, your boss think about you better and promote you faster, like that. So in general, if you start from the same position with some people, with one man who is dusk, who does not express himself, and you are good in communicating with these jokes, you have more chance to promote. It's my opinion. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like they will say, come on, you are here for telling jokes, and it's not your business. You are here to explain lessons and grammar. So that I will be fired, not paid more.
Well, I think it's actually a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Well, according to the speaker, 98% of CEOs expressed that they prefer workers who use humor at the workplace. So they promote them easier. So that's why they say that humor helps you to earn more money. So, but probably it does not work. Well, actually, it does not work here the same way. You just have payment, and it's up to you. You can laugh or you can cry. You should do just your work, and that's it.
I can't be agree.
You cannot agree. Of course you cannot.
Let's think about that from another point of view. So he doesn't speak about direct connection. You make a joke and you have $100 more. It doesn't work that way. But if you can use jokes, if you can communicate if you can attract people, and people understand you better, so you will have more classes, for instance. You will be more efficient, and so on. So it's just another tool to motivate people, or how to say it, make them memorize things. For instance, my trick. when I need to deliver some instruction to my workers, something long, I always break it into the few points and trying to do the jokes, because people remember better when I when I do some jokes about something which I should to deliver, and probably they forget instruction immediately, but because they remember the jokes, they will remember, they will recall the instruction like that. So I use it like a tool for memorizing, like that. Yes, mnemonic. What is way mnemonic? Practice. So, Sherry Yotrix, what do you think? Is humor related to your efficiency? I don't know what's the word should I use?
Efficiency, yeah.
Efficiency, yes. Is it related or not? Gerard, you always communicate with people on your work, right? Do you
Yeah, I think it's important having humor inside our workplace, because it helps to have a good environment. On the opposite, people who are toxic, who always are negative, they can make a bad environment and not being as much productive.
Right. Even if you want to punish people, better to do that, in funny way, without too much negative, like that. Leila, how you punish people? With jokes or without?
Oh, with my eyes, my dear. I don't talk. I just look at them in a very serious way. But the thing is that I was just thinking while you were talking, our culture is not a work-centered culture. So if you start a presentation or something like that, just using jokes as a tool, then people can lose their, motivation to work. What I think is that you have to find a balance, how to use humor. And for example, in my life, I have worked a lot. I used to work 7 days, 9 to 5 working day, and I received no kudos, no praise at all. But during our presentations, if somebody started the presentation with a humorous way, then I feel really happy. But if the teacher continued like that, then nobody listened to her. So what I'm thinking is that I agree with Gerard. You must use humor. For example, you said you use humor as a tool. After we finished the TED Talks, the Hangouts, I remember your humorous words, sentences, and helped me a lot. Ivan, don't smile. It's the truth. Punishing is not my way.
So your point is we should to have balance about these things.
Sure.
So don't can express it well. So we can't do that too much to make people too relaxed, right?
Yeah.
And in same way, if we too serious, it will hurt us too. It will hurt in motivation and something like this, in communication with people. Black Mata, what about you? Are you always serious on your job, on your work?
No, I used to say jokes and smile. So when I want to punish my students, I just look angry and I start talking without any pause. So they start asking, "What's wrong? Why doesn't she smile?" and something like this. So it works. But I use the same way as Layla. So with my eyes, I have a dangerous look.
Yeah.
And I try not to smile or not to say any joke, not to talk privately with any student. So they will feel that they have done something wrong, and this is their punishment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand why you and Leila don't put the camera on to not be funny. Not to punish us too much. Doing bad. Vasant, what about you? Are you allowed to joke on your work? You're a public person, I know.
Yes, I love to express humor many times because in my school days and college days, even at churches, we do some stage plays. So I always prefer humor because humor is a sweet medicine, we call it sometimes. We can even convey the hard message by telling a humor. So it helps us here.
Yes, I agree. I'm not going to ask teacher Lee because all we all know he's joking all the time.
And so you.
I would like to say, though, that humor needs a balance. If you have too much humor, people are going to think you don't take the topic serious.
Yes.
So you have to, kind of balance it. I do think humor, has a lot of good benefits. It makes the learning fun. It relaxes people. And when things are fun and relaxing, you learn more. You're more receptive to receiving information. And if you can tie some new information to a humorous fact, or, you can say this new invention is like the Death Star in Star Wars, you can instantly communicate a magnitude or a characteristic that people can immediately relate to and understand more deeply. So it has value if you use it appropriately.
Okay, so we mentioned, Leila, please.
I agree with Lee, and also while using humor, we should take their interests, their needs into consideration. Our humor should be related to their hobbies or their, interest, because when I just use humor to make them motivate, and if it is not related to the topic or it's not related to their interest, they don't even laugh. So, for example, we said Star Wars. Children love it.
Yeah.
Gerard?
Yes. The best teachers I remember during my childhood and adolescence were the ones that had some sense of humor, because a just proportion of humor, so we were more interested in the topic, but make us to being more focused on what they are saying and more interested. So it's easy to study something you enjoy too. And not you are forced to remember many information and the class is boring.
Yes. Diana?
Yeah, I just wanted to change this, our direction just a little bit. Okay, let's presume that that's wonderful when at the workplace your colleagues have the sense of humor which you understand and you accept. But this is very personal, sense of humor differs even in the same culture. So I've met a lot of people who have sense of humor which I do not appreciate, which I do not understand, which does not work for me, So what should we do in such a case? If it is your boss, you just smile politely, but if it is your coworker, you cannot put up with it, right? So, well, what would you do?
Yeah, and it's exactly my questions. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes. So yes, I
I'm sorry.
No. It's moreover, it's makes this question more precious.
Oh, okay.
Because
and
probably,
we have girls. Yeah, we have girls. They want to answer right away.
Yes, Leila. What about your colleagues?
I agree with Diane. That's why I mentioned that we should take a lot of things into consideration. For example, just think about the culture, think about the hobbies, think about the age. You have to think about a lot of things. A child can laugh and be motivated a lot when I mention about Star Wars, but an adult may feel, nothing. So I agree with you, but I'm telling it again and again, we should use humor to some extent, and we should be aware of the fact that to whom we are trying to motivate by using humor.
Black Mata?
Yeah, I will tell you about something that happened 2 days ago when someone of our colleagues tried to make a joke with me. So she called me with another name, trying to be funny or something. So I stopped her and said that's not acceptable, and I wouldn't reply if she keeps calling me this way. So she just understood it's not acceptable for me, and she didn't try it again. So you have to set your rules.
Sure.
What's acceptable and what is not. Yeah.
Right. But what if it's can't formulate. What if your colleagues don't get you the clue? Do they like it? They don't laugh. They don't. Looks like they don't against it. Something
You know,
with it.
I call it humorous harassment.
I like it a lot.
So you've become the subject, not the subject. How can I say it? So you've experienced the humorous harassment at work.
I'm not. Tell me. I don't know.
No, Black Matter. Not you. No.
Okay,
I would like to see a person who would harass you with humor.
Why not? Well, sometimes it's happens. Sometimes your joke is bad. Sometimes someone else trying to do the joke, and it's how to say it, fell down. Yes, or fell apart. I don't know. It happened all the time. How to live with that? Should we be angry
Kill
about
people.
it?
Yeah, let's kill them all.
Okay, so killing no man, no problem, right?
Sure.
Well, but for instance, I am very tolerant to bad jokes. If people try to do something funny, but for some reason it did not work, I'm very tolerant because I know that it's simple. It's simple. You trying to do something funny, you think it will be funny, but at the end it doesn't work. So I was on that side. That's why I'm very tolerant when other people trying to do. What about you, Black Mata?
Yeah, I want you. One day I wanted to make a joke. So a teacher had some papers, like a pile of papers, and she said that she didn't need them anymore. So if anyone wanted to reuse them, or I don't know. So I just said that, okay, I'll take them to make a pillow. So another teacher took this seriously and said, does it work? A pillow from paper? Heard of this? So I paused and said, oh, I was just kidding. I don't know. They didn't understand the joke, so I stopped. It was silly anyway.
In America, we say, I'll use it for toilet paper, and that kind of insults them a little bit.
Well, toilet humor is not, is not very sophisticated, I would say.
Yes.
It implies their papers are
garbage.
garbage. Yeah, so
Right.
so humor can go the wrong way, or you have to be careful with it.
Absolutely.
You have to know your audience.
Sure, know your audience. That's a good one.
Okay,
go ahead.
Let me read another question of mine, which I made before. So if you can see that the situation is very good for making a joke, and maybe your colleague don't like it, will not like it, or something like that, can you stay away of it because of consequences or not? It's my pain. I always can stay. If I see that it's a good time and place to make that, even if people will not like it, I can stay. So sometimes it has consequences for me, but what to do?
Oh,
Yes, Leila?
oh, I'm not as brave as you are, my friend. No, I will say nothing. I mean, if I think that they won't enjoy it, what's the point? You know, I just don't say anything. Because I'm not, you know, I'm very sensitive. If they don't laugh at my humor, then I feel offended.
Okay. It's a precious point. So it's about evaluating your jokes. So you do your jokes for others. No, it's not my case. I do it for me.
Oh, I don't want to. No, thank you.
Vasant, would you like to answer?
Yes, are we on the same question? Like when people don't understand our jokes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My opinion is if a humor doesn't amuse anyone, it's not a humor. I think it might be a sarcasm, right? Because
Vasant,
but in my
it's too early for definition.
sorry.
It's too early for definition. We usually make it in the end.
Okay. If somebody doesn't understand my humor, then I would think that they are not smart enough to understand my humor.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
it.
Vasant.
Because there is no point to explain the joke again, right? A joke is meant to be understood in an instant. If it is has to be explained again, it's not a joke, right? There's no point in it.
Well, sometimes it is, to get your point across. Yes, to get the joke across. Can I say that, Teacher Lee? So
Yeah.
to make people understand your joke, you need to, well, first to know the audience, right? You need to have this background information, because sometimes it's like, it is in the context, right? If it is taken out of the context, then sometimes it is not funny. You need some, like background, like a history to that joke, and in that case, it will be understood. So if you just shout it out of the blue, people will not understand you, but probably the joke is still funny. So if you explain it, or if you lead your audience to it, it will be much more fun for you and for your audience. So some work should be done, some explanation should be done first.
Okay, but language questions. What is shout out of the blue? How you say it?
Suddenly, all of a sudden.
Okay,
just tell your joke without no preambula, right? So without history.
Okay, but don't have you seen some good comedy actors when they telling a joke and the auditory don't understand them? So they do a row of the jokes, and some of them are successful, but some of them the auditory is quiet. They are professionals, but they cannot do all the jokes successful. How we can do that?
Absolutely, so first of all, know the audience again. So probably the audience was, I like this moment when I see the work of the stand-up comedians or something, when I can hear how this joke works. Sometimes it takes one people, like a couple of moments, and then it comes to the other people, so it takes a while for other people, a longer while, to get the joke, to get the gist of the joke. So
it's a wave,
it's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like a wave, right? So
sure. I like when there is such this effect, that it is good.
Yes. So another question, right? What do we have? If you were in charge of team at work, how would you give your presentation? In a serious tone, in a cool manner, or would you soften the atmosphere atmosphere and use humor to attract them? Question from Leila.
And Leila, it's your turn. I start a presentation using humor, but about a general thing, in order to understand what they may laugh at, what they may not. So I just want to understand their interests. But of course, as a classroom teacher, I know these beforehand. But sometimes I should give seminars to teachers, so I don't know their nature. To know the person's nature is really important because, for example, I know Lee for a I have known Lee for a long time, and we have been good friends, but there is a kind of respect, and I never just use jokes or use humor beyond respect. This is important for me. It's the same with Diane, Gerard, everybody, because it is my character. But with you, Yvonne, I'm so happy. Sometimes I think about it, what you want to say. Sometimes I may feel, okay, does he mean that or he doesn't? And then I just have the conclusion, no, Yvonne is a straightforward person. So, what I want to say, just we have to be careful, as Lee also mentioned. Balance.
Well, they teach me to return compliment immediately, but I don't know how.
You blush, Ivan, you blush.
Same to you. Say same to you.
He blushed, Diane. He blushed.
So thank you very much.
Cool.
Okay, Blackmata, what about your presentation? Do you do that in a serious way or with humor?
I already said that I sometimes use my humor, especially when I want to explain a hard point regarding about grammar or some examples, a new word, for example, or when I want to act a scene in a story or something. So I changed my job suddenly, so I became an actress instead of a teacher. But I hope I won't need to be a clown. So this won't be a catastrophe. Yeah.
Okay. Someone else? Who wants?
Well, okay, I can answer that. So as for the presentation, I think that when I was younger, I was really afraid to seem funny, comic, okay? So I didn't want to become a clown. The older I get, the easier it is for me to relax and have fun, and I don't really care whether I look funny or something. So actually, I think that, with age comes this bravery. So you're not afraid to look funny, to say something, to make people laugh. You don't feel that they're laughing at you. So you are just making them laughing with you. So that's the difference.
Yeah, Diana, but don't you think it's not about age? It's about self-confident or something like this?
Well, you're becoming self-confident with age as well. Age has some advantages as well. So well.
Because same story with me. When I was young, I cannot stay if someone joke about me.
Right.
Impossible.
Yeah, now you just don't care. So I like the saying that what other people think and talk about you is none of your business. Just forget about that. So let them talk.
So I don't do presentation often on my current job, so I don't have experience about that. But what I can say is share my observation. I'm watching too many presentation for my job. I mean, some IT conference or something like that. And now using humor, it's a huge trend. Huge trend. Many people use it each second. They have a slides with, slides always funny. I cannot see any more serious slides. It's always with some, toothless, some funny pictures and so on. So it looks like it's a kindergarten, not an IT conference.
Okay.
But in the same time, looks like people just understand that it's don't bother them. I mean, listeners and participants in this conference. So for me, it looks like current trend in the society.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you see that or not?
I think professionals expect professional behavior, and if you have too much humor, it's going to be a negative impact. That's my opinion.
Yes.
Maybe because IT industry in general is not so mature. How to say? It's not
Mature?
so mature. Yes. So it's for young people mostly, and young people take it easy. Like that.
Yes, tend to laugh a lot, right? Prone to laughter.
Yes, Vasant, once you wrote a post that you had presentation on your job. When people do that, do they use the humor?
No, in my job, we do not have a presentation, but in my college days, in my graduation, I had to present my project in my final year. So as you all know, I preferred the humorous way to present my project at that time. And
you lost sound, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. You said something? Actually, I missed that. Yeah.
Yes, Bukmata just answered. I'm sleepy. That's all.
Okay.
I saw that you didn't finish and was looking for continuation.
Okay.
Okay, but I can nowadays I can see many humorous signs, many humorous tables, how we call it, when people don't just write "don't swim there," but they do some funny picture or some joke on the sign or something like that. No eye contact. Like that.
No eye contact. Thanks a lot.
Eye contact, right? Mm-hmm. But as the speaker said, this helps make people stop and pay attention. So the funny picture is more memorable. So your message will get across. So
yes,
why not use it?
Yes, it's just a technique to
Yes.
take your attention, to make your message more reachable. I don't know how to say more right like that. So it's a common point, you see. So it's a common point to use humor for some benefits, for better memorizing, for taking attention and so on. So it looks like we should use it. Yes, Leila.
Your sense of humor makes us concentrate on the hangout more and more. You see, time is also over, and I'm still here listening to all my friends. And you said, why I'm not going just turning on my cam, because I stand up, walk around, listen to you, and do something bad, smoke. I'm sorry. So, but I'm listening. So humor is good now. But I can't.
Ivan, it's your turn.
Yeah, I can't use this humor.
Same here. Same to you. Same to you, Leila. Thank you.
Yeah, always return the compliment. That's right.
Oh, it's not a compliment. I am like him. So straightforward, Diane.
I know. I'm just kidding. You know, we're talking about humor, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Black Manta, please, your question.
Yeah. Did it happen to you that you were in somewhere like ceremony or a sad situation and you felt like laughing just without any reason?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And the saddest, you know, the sadder the situation is, the more, you know, the urge is to laugh for me. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it is like a nervous kind of reaction. Yeah, like I forgot how to say that. Like defending mechanism, right? Is it correct? Defending? Defense.
Yeah, but I mean that you really want to laugh because you are not sad. Maybe you are just there to
laugh.
No, like you have to do this, but you don't feel sad from inside, and
Yeah, it happens.
something happens, so you want to laugh. So what can you do, and how to hide this laugh? For example, when I start laughing, I start crying, so they will look at me and they will think, is she crazy? She's
Well,
crying.
if you start crying, it will explain. So probably you can just, you know, cry and explain your reaction that you just wanted to cry. So if it is a sad,
But it's not sad crying. I mean that.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm laughing with tears. So that's when I laugh too much. So my tears start dropping like this.
Right.
So it's really bad when I go to somewhere like this and start laughing. They will say she's absolutely crazy.
So you'll be crazy for a while. Don't worry.
Usually it doesn't happen with me on the sad ceremonies, but sometimes when we have some conference, how to say, some meetings, and it's too long, it's too boring, I can stay. I'm starting to notice some funny moments and starting to laugh on that, but people get used. So it's okay. They just think he's insane. So let's go.
Yeah.
You know, a case where that might happen. Let's say you're at someone's funeral, and he's an old guy and he's a grumpy guy and he's died, and everyone's real sad, and you're sitting there maybe looking at his body in the coffin, and maybe you suddenly think, you know, this guy, if he was alive, he'd like to turn over and stick his butt up in the air and say, "World, kiss my butt." And you might suddenly start laughing at that image in your mind. Everyone else is sad around and they're going, "What's he laughing at?" You had some funny thought about what that guy would do if he were alive. So it could be perceived wrong, but it's not disrespectful in your mind because of the irony, you know. So something like that, it could happen. Yeah.
Leila?
I think it's a kind of reaction. I agree with Diane. For example, in sad situations, I can't help crying. I can't laugh. But some people don't want to show their feelings and they laugh. This is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Whew. So we're out of the questions, right?
I have a question. What do you think about practical jokes? Have you ever been a subject, or how do you say, a subject of a practical joke? Can you say that? So the practical joke was directed to you, on you, yes? So somebody played the practical joke on you. Is that correct? I'm not sure. Okay.
Yes, but what is practical joke, Diana?
Yeah, what is practical joke? Let's have some definitions, Ivan. It's about time, 10 minutes.
A practical joke is something that is, to me, outlandish and stupid. Let's say that you're a business meeting, okay? Very serious business meeting. Everyone's sitting down. You walk in, there's one chair empty. You go to sit down. When you sit down, something goes. Someone put a whoopee cushion.
Yeah. When you type,
So-
we cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. So someone put what we call a whoopee cushion under on your chair. So when you sat down on it, it went,
Yeah.
and it made it sound like you farted in front of a serious meeting.
Yeah.
So that's what we call a practical joke. A practical joke is tasteless. It's intended to embarrass you. That's what she's talking about. Practical jokes are intended to make someone look stupid
Yeah.
or idiotic. Those are called practical jokes. Okay?
Well, I
You
understand what-
open the door and a bucket of water falls on your head and soaks you. That's a practical joke.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about your level of jokes. For me, I always use, not always, I often use a level of joke like a sign of intellect of other people. When you see what kind of jokes men make, you can expect what to.
You know what to expect. Right?
Yes, you know what to expect. If it's very mean or bad jokes, it just explains many for you.
Yeah.
A lot to you.
A lot.
I'll give you an example. When I was in the Navy, we had a junior officer. He was from the Naval Academy, so he wore a ring that said, "I'm from the Naval Academy. I'm better than all of you people." And he was an asshole. He was a jerk. And his subordinates hated him because he was so arrogant and so full of himself. So what they would do, they would play practical jokes on him to insult him and make him look foolish. What they would do, you know what binoculars are? You know binoculars?
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, it's an
They would-
international word.
They would take his binoculars and they would put black ink around the eyepiece.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he had black eyes. So when he did that, and people looked at him, they all started laughing at him. Okay.
Yeah.
They would do, and same for the hat. They would put the black stuff inside his hat. So when he put his hat on and took his hat off, he had a black ring around his head. They would play jokes on him all the time because it showed disrespect and hatred. So
Yeah.
practical jokes are not they're intended to be funny, but they're not intended to be respectful, and that can be bad.
Not funny for all, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's what Deanna's talking about.
How about like students at school, Layla? How about that pin on the chair, like the classical practical joke? Have you ever experienced that from your students? I don't believe that you. No, of course not.
That, we are really just careful, and we don't let the students do a lot of stupid things in the classroom. But to tell you the truth, sometimes some things happen. For example, once I was wearing a long skirt and I stumbled and fell down in front of the students. They started laughing at me. You know what I did? I sat on the floor and I started laughing with them.
Yeah, it works better, right?
Yeah. But my knee just hurt a lot. I
Yeah.
was about to, I feel really embarrassed, but I didn't show them. By the way, can I ask something? We were talking about efficiency, efficient, or just effectiveness, being effective. Let's talk about the difference.
Yeah. That was the question, actually.
Yeah.
Efficiency and effectiveness. What's the difference?
So I can say one or two things, then I'm sure Lee will explain more. What I have learned, efficient is acting to produce an effect on somebody. And effective means producing a strong impression on somebody. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, efficiency, I think it's okay when you avoid to waste your time. So, but effectiveness, it's a different thing. You can do a lot within 1 hour, for example, but it does not mean that you are efficient, because probably the rest of your working day will be wasted on something else. But it was, if it was an effective hour, you can do like your work within that 1 hour. So there is a difference, right? Efficient and effective.
We say he gave an effective performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But while you're talking about a worker, you can say an efficient builder, an efficient worker. So
let's look at it this way. The way I think of effective means it gets the job done.
Right. Okay.
The result is achieved, the desired result.
right.
Efficient is how much effort it takes you to get that result. Now, if I work 5 minutes and get the desired result, I'm efficient and effective. If you work an hour and you get the desired result, you're just as effective, but not as efficient.
As efficient. Okay.
If I work an hour to get the desired result, and you work 5 minutes, but you get the wrong result, you may be efficient, but you weren't effective.
Okay.
I was not efficient, but I was effective. So you want to be efficient and effective if you can, but sometimes trial and error, you might be inefficient, but if you get the desired result, you were effective.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Lee.
And we have a question. We have a question from Maria, which she unfortunately left, but she left us a question. BM, can you read it for us or rephrase it because it's too long? Plachmata? No. Gerard, you was too quiet today.
Right.
Okay. Imagine you are working in your office or somewhere else, and you make a mistake. You made a mistake. You did something wrong. Your boss comes to you and she starts to complain about your mistake. This boss has a great sense of humor and she is always making jokes. But this time, she is angry. Do you feel more guilty because of your mistake? And do you feel more engaged with that kind of person in a project?
Just watching that.
So what do we think?
In other words, if your boss is normally easygoing, he's happy, he's making jokes, and he says, "Hey, you screwed up," you don't feel so bad. But if he comes in there and says, "God darn it, what were you thinking, you stupid idiot," and he's angry because he's normally easygoing, and suddenly he's serious and angry, that has a much stronger impact than a friendly chastising. I think that's what this is asking. I'm not sure.
I got the same way. So it's about difference. It's about gap between usual behavior and being angry. So.
Right. So I think what they're asking is, if that were to happen, would his dramatic anger make you feel worse, or would it make you feel better, or would it make you feel more committed to correct your mistake? I guess would it make you more engaged or less engaged? I guess. Is that what it's asking? You know what I'm asking?
Yes, it looks so. But let's don't ask. Let's ask Maria join us next time and participate. And in that case, she will got our answers. So I'm going to close the class because we have our time. Yes, and we have many of us have another class. So Nice talking as always. I think we all
Yeah, thank you.
covered
It
the
was
topic.
great.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.